It's like the European version of Bangkok. Very high threshold for bad behavior. It was a karaoke ambush. It really terrifying. A guy in a giant panda suit, and the panda was coming at the other panda from behind. Fortunately, I wasn't high, because that would have really, really, really freaked me right the out.
Get back to
The use of any controlled substance by me or any member of this crew would be absolutely forbidden according to network standards and all rules of human decency. Remember, kids, don't do drugs. We don't.
When you mention you'll be making a stopover in Amsterdam, you get a reaction I can only describe as semi-collegiate. A knowing look, as if there can really only be two reasons you go to this lovely little city of canals. This Venice of the North, as somebody called it, attracts over 3 million visitors a year. A large number of them, let's face it, attracted by the freedom to smoke high-test weed as one pleases, and the famous red light district, where you can an Eastern European prostitute in the pooper at competitive prices. Oh yeah, there's museums and stuff too. Best way into Amsterdam from Schiphol Airport is the train to Central Station. Takes 20 minutes and costs only a few euros. Since forever, this is how most visitors arrive.
When I was 14 years old, I was working in the luggage department. And then I was taking the big backpacks from the hippies coming from all over the world. And then everybody came to the Vondelpark to sleep there and hang out and smoke all the nice delights from those days.
Amsterdam. Last time I was here, I slept in the park. Spent all my money on hash and hookers. Well, time to start the layover.
I came here briefly in my misspent youth. So I'm curious to see what the city's really like now that my priorities have changed somewhat. So I dump my bag at the hotel and head straight to the Ape near the station. I've got 36 hours, which is a pretty reasonable amount of time to work with.
Ooh, that's good coffee.
Possibly the oldest bar in the city, famously a watering hole and inn for sailors back in the 1500s. They called it the Ape because the owner would often accept monkeys, apes, or other exotic animals as payment. Wait till they see the incontinent and possibly rabid mink I have in my bag. He's just darling.
You know, one of my favorite things about travel is all the anticipation of good times. I came here first in 1970 with a U-Rail passer, $100 in my pocket. I slept in Vondelpark. Oh, they were different times. It was like a little mini Woodstock. What do I know about Amsterdam? Nothing.
Aziz Boudrana is a native Amsterdammer who owns a group of skateboard shops. Also, he likes pancakes. I like pancakes.
So it's your first time in Amsterdam?
No, I was here almost 40 years ago.
So do you kind of feel that it's changed a lot?
I've seen the train station, my hotel, and it looks exactly the same.
This street became the junkie street of Amsterdam. When I started going out, it was maybe 1979 or something, when I was 13, 14. This street was just like a zombie parade.
So what happened to them all?
Crazy.
Where'd they all go?
Put them on a program.
Right, like methadone or
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the methadone program for 8 years.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Holy
Not fun. All right, after you, sir.
Thank you.
This place, supposedly, is where the Beastie Boys were inspired to write their famous line, "When I'm in Holland, I eat the pannenkoeken." A lyric I've had tattooed on my inner thigh since the release of Super Disco Breakin'.
I don't know, what's the most traditional?
Bacon and apple, that's very, very Dutch. Special today is like rhubarb mixed with apricots with our homemade cream.
Oh, that's a tough call. Let's get one of each.
Did I mention yet that people talk English here? Yup. Unlike our country, the Dutch generally speak 2 or 3 or even 4 languages fluently. So it's easy to communicate.
I don't think I've ever met anyone from this country whose English is not flawless. How many languages do you speak?
I speak Dutch, English, German, French. And that's about it.
Right. It's sickening, I have to say. It makes me feel like completely illiterate.
If pancakes don't do it for you, there's a restaurant called the Hardering Brothers, run by, you guessed it, brothers Paul and Nick in the Rappenberg, which is well worth a visit. Simple and flavorful and seasonal, and they do a killer head cheese. So don't miss it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
How's that treating you?
This is good. Send me a slice of that, will you? I'm going to try that after you're done. So what are the sort of iconic foods of Amsterdam?
The snacks that you have here are not found anywhere else in the world. Like the frikandel, kroketten, bitterballen, all kinds of terrible, greasy, bad for your health food.
That sounds promising. All the tourists that come in to Amsterdam, what do you think the majority of them do?
They go to the red light district, smoke pot.
Yep.
They go to the Van Gogh Museum and
Right.
then they take off. You know?
Time is already slipping away, so I say goodbye before he makes me eat more sweet stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That was really terrific.
Thank you for coming.
I'll be taking the tram to my next stop, though you could take a bike. In Amsterdam, the bike, crappy old bikes actually, are the kings of the road. Even cars fear them. You better look both ways.
You can do everything on the bike. I've seen people doing amazing things on bike, I can tell you.
If you want a bike, you can go see Frederick and his dog.
My doggy is called Rocco. Rocco Bambula.
He can set you up with an appropriately undesirable-looking two-wheeled means of transport, local-looking so it won't get stolen, presumably.
All our bikes are incognito, so without advertisement, you cannot see they're tourists, and they just go around like a local.
The trams are probably the second best way of getting around. Cars are near impossible on these streets. You definitely don't want to drive them. A short distance away is the Dam Square in the center of the city. If you want to stop, push the button.
You know, taking the trolley, while affordable and convenient, it's actually, most importantly, it's fun. It's kind of cool the way it snakes through the city, especially if it's got up a good head of steam and you're moving. I'd recommend it.
The Dam Square is the historical center of Amsterdam, home to the Royal Palace, tourists, and very strange people. I am a fan of local, indigenous beverages. You know this. My interest is, of course, anthropological. To that end, I am investigating Jennifer. A perfectly fine venue for the stuff being this place, the Three Little Bottles, near the Dam Square. Look, it's Paul from the Hardering Brothers, where he does brilliant things to pork, so I trust him on the alcohol.
How do I pronounce it? Geneva?
Geneva, that's
Yeah, I think I'll have one of those.
Old Geneva?
And maybe a beer also?
The older the better.
Having one?
Yeah, I'll have one too.
And there is an appropriate way of drinking it.
The trick is to not touch it.
Ooh, that's not that's strong. That'll work.
Basically, it's kind of like gin, meaning neutral spirits flavored with juniper. But this is Dutch. If it ain't made in Holland, it ain't Jennifer.
First buzz of the day.
Another option for getting swacked is the Pilsner Club off the Kalverstraat, a public house that's been open for 125 years. Sand on the floor and an absence of music and joker poker machines. Back at the tasting room, I'm happy to learn you can get meat on the side.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
See, now that's a good time. This is, every bar needs this. You know, you realize I've had maybe a little too much to drink. Time for a meatball. Yeah. No? How humiliating.
One of the things that I really enjoyed when I came here in '84 the first time was just sitting in one spot and just watching people go by for like a half an hour. It's amazing. It's all walks of life, man. Wow, wow, wow.
It's like every variety of hipster doofus from the entire universe is allowed here. It's like the European version of Bangkok. A very high threshold for bad behavior.
Come to Amsterdam and you're absolutely going to be curious, shall we say, about the coffee shops, right? You can buy and smoke weed here, to put it bluntly. I have, in the interests of my audience, come to a cafe called the Dampkring to investigate. It's right in the center of town on Haanbroekstraat.
Hi.
Good evening.
Are you Ron?
I'm Ron. Nice
Hey,
to meet you,
how are
Mr.
you?
Biden.
My host is the amiable Ron, manager and expert, guide and curator to your own magical mystery tour.
How does it work? It's perfectly legal to smoke weed here. It's perfectly legal to possess weed here. But it has to, technically, it should magically appear because you're not allowed to produce it.
Well, you're allowed to sell it. There is a rule that you can have 500 grams in the shop.
Right.
And you're allowed to sell 5 grams to each person.
Oh.
But you're not allowed to grow it. That's totally illegal.
But let's face it, what percentage of tourists who come to Amsterdam come here to smoke weed?
Officially, it's about 7 or 8%, what they say statistically comes to Amsterdam. There's no way, no. That's why we think it's more like 25, 30% of people.
I would, just looking around, I would say that's true.
Yeah.
The weed industry brings a lot of dough into this city. And like I said, it's legal. And I am not, shall we say, unfamiliar with the charms of the product around here. But network policy specifically prohibits me from using mind-altering substances which might be illegal in parts of the USA. And if you know me at all, you know for a fact that I am, as is appropriate, slavishly adherent to network policy. So sadly, I will not be smoking any of the incredibly rare and powerful varieties of hydro here.
This is the Dampkring menu.
Wow.
This is the marijuana list.
That tastes smooth and spicy effect.
It makes it a bit easier. Sometimes people come in and they get really confused, you know, when they look at the menu. We guide them a little bit.
Now, if I were looking for something, if I were picking something, which of course I'm not because that would violate network policy, I'd be looking for something with an aroma of something like cat piss.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's a sativa. It is that very deep catfish smell in there.
Right. I've heard that's good.
Yeah. You heard well.
Do you like football, soccer? You go to Amsterdam. Do you like drinking? You go to Amsterdam. Do you like smoking? You go to Amsterdam. This is the city of liberty. You can do everything you want. You can even on my shoulders, no problem at all.
Almost cut my hair happened just the other day. What? Huh? Oh yeah, Amsterdam, city of tolerance. Though chances are your louder drinkers here are from elsewhere, and not all Amsterdammers by any means are smoking endo. Many, if not most of the people taking a plastic fantastic joyride to the center of your mind on the bar stools of coffee shops are tourists. It's a legal novelty, and one way to kick back on a layover. Not that I would ever do such a thing.
What I like you to do, you with your cooking experience and your sense of smell and taste, is I like you to smell the differences between the weeds. The C5, as you can smell like this, is very lemony. Really give it a good squeeze, and then the whole smell comes out.
It is very citric.
The A5 mix is more the one that smells like cat
See,
piss.
now this reminds me of what I may or may not have done. Yeah. Yeah, see, that smells lovely.
Oh, wow. Contact high. Did anyone really ever get a contact high? No, not in my experience. You actually have to put the joint in your mouth to get high. Unfortunately, because I respect the policies and liability issues of the television industry, I will not, repeat not, be smoking weed now, on camera, or ever. Not me. I am on a natural high.
More of a cheesy...
I'm high on the satisfaction of making fine, drug-free television entertainment. If inspired by your coffee shop experience to see some, art, you could go to the Rijksmuseum. But Electric Ladyland and the Jordaan area might be more appropriate to where your head's at, man. It's a day-glow fluorescent wonderland, named after Jimi Hendrix's last good album. It's a cave built into the downstairs basement with, rocks and colors and... whoa. The work of artist Nick Padalino.
A lot of this is based on science, but it's mostly like a color trip inside here. This part over here is called a reactor. There's 19 different lenses inside here with telescopes and binoculars. When you look through all of these lenses, there's also a natural piece in the center that's a blue crystal from England. That's called fluorite.
I haven't moved. I've been looking at my hand, and it looks different. Does it look any different to you? Pretty sure I can see veins and, right through the skin. Did you notice, how the cat is looking at me? I think he's stoned, man. That is so awesome. The cat is like stone.
Suddenly I'm hungry.
Ron lures me outside to reassess reality and get a grip. Promising to bring me to a brown cafe. After some initial concern that this was some kind of underground thing for German fetishists, I was informed that they're actually bars.
Cheers.
The Dutch equivalent of the old school British pub.
Oh, that's good. Dry mouth. I don't know why.
That's really good. Now this is what they call a real Amsterdam brown cafe. And there's, maybe there's 20 left in town.
Really?
Real neighborhood cafes.
The Two Swans is in an area called Jordaan, once a working class district, now gentrified, though some customs remain. I was looking forward to a nice, quiet refuge where I could kick back, relax, de-tweak, get that cat out of my head.
I think they have every week here, they have live music, people singing, old Amsterdam songs and stuff like that. Really traditional still.
Everybody seems to know each other.
Yeah, it's neighborhood. After 3 beers, you feel like, nice. What's the next beer?
Suddenly, this happens, and I nearly jump out of my skin. Hell, I feel like I crawled into a quiet hole, looking to chill out, get away from the world, and found myself in the middle of the Broadway production of South Pacific. Jesus! I am so unhappy now, I am seriously considering feigning a seizure or cutting my own throat. This is the very definition of hell. Now Ron's off, too. This is like you're sitting with Neil Young, and he suddenly and unexpectedly starts belting out a medley from Annie. NG, man! NG!
Drink op de hemel wel! Drinken op de hemel!
If more ear-shattering, less show-toony is where you want to be, maybe Mallow Mallow Club better. Late night dive bar with blues, punk, jazz. This is where you might go when everything else is closed. Meanwhile, I'm back at the Two Swans, looking desperately for a way out. Trying to drink my way through it. Singing bars are apparently very common here. Unfortunately, I don't share the nation's love of singing.
What happened in there? It was a karaoke ambush. To be surprised with show tunes, you know, you like a little warning. I found that deeply terrifying. It's really terrifying. Thank God I'm not stoned.
We head from the Jordan to the Liedesplein area, a hunting ground for late-night food. Amsterdam is in many ways the last great champion of food from a wall, automat-style dining.
And it's the frikandel, our famous frikandel.
For mere pocket change, you can enjoy all sorts of fried breaded goodies without having to interact with another human being. Perfect for my current state of mind.
As long as you don't mention it. I thought I'd get a big chunk of eyeball. Nothing bad about this dish.
Meat of sorts in tube form. This is my safe place.
I need one of these in my apartment.
But this is basically like everybody who's going out to discotheques or whatever, on their way home, 80% stops here, have a few snacks and go to bed.
At this hour of the night, you know, often my feeling is, if there's not a 50% chance of diarrhea, it's really not worth eating.
I go take a coffee and go sit there and drink the coffee, you know? And drink Dutch coffee, that's nice. It's not like the American coffee, it's good coffee.
Where am I? What happened? I'm not covered in blood, so that's good. Didn't pee in sock drawer. Excellent. Feeling funky fresh. Not exactly.
So I got a couple hours to kill. I could probably, I don't know, have a coffee or maybe liberate an underage Ukrainian prostitute from her life of slavery and oppression. I'm thinking coffee.
De Prin's Cafe in the Jordan is perfect for coffee and guidebook consultation.
I love that public urination is extremely looked down upon. Where exactly is public urination encouraged? Well, maybe England. They do have convenient public urinals here. If you're trying to find a friendly face, you'll probably have to look up. The Dutch people are the tallest in the world. The average man over 6 feet tall and the average woman over 5'7". So, Tom Cruise, stay home. Little fella, somebody will end up putting an ashtray on your head.
When the urge to vomit subsides and my memory returns and I realize I've done nothing shameful, it's time for a healthy breakfast. I meet back up with Aziz, who's promised me a typically Dutch street snack. A healthy one to boot.
So this is a popular tradition here, the herring stand?
Yeah, in the city center, they're on every main street. Traditional way to eat it is to grab it by the tail, dip it in chopped up onions, raw onions, and then you eat it, yeah.
Bones and all?
There's no bones.
Herring, cured in salt, then pickled in vinegar. There's also eels, mackerel, and salmon available. Delivery to mouth methods include in a sandwich or straight down the hatch.
Dip it. What do you think? Like it?
That's good.
Pickled fish too much? How about stroopwafel in Amsterdam's legendary food market? A warm, thin cookie outside and buttery, sticky sweet inside. Everyone loves stroopwafel.
One more bite.
Time ticking away. Oh no, so little time. What to do? How to make the most of my remaining time? How about a ferry ride to a deserted warehouse district somewhere, Aziz?
Where are we going?
We're going to Amsterdam North.
We have tickets?
Oh, it's free.
It's free?
Yeah, ferries are free.
Really?
Yeah. We're going to where no tourist has ever set foot.
I guess the 15-minute ferry ride is a decent way to get a feel for just how waterlogged this city is. And this isn't a spot you could get to by tram or metro. And the north itself has some interesting history.
They used to say that Amsterdam North people are a little bit crazy because they used to ship all the crazy people here and all the criminals and stuff. It must have been hundreds of years ago. I think that was like...
Oh, so they pushed them out to
yeah, I think
live on this island.
Hi. You go first.
Bloody Mary? Good.
Really? Yeah.
It's a little hurting a little.
Did you go out in Amsterdam last night?
Had a couple of things, interesting things happen to me last night. Went to a coffee bar. In spite of the fact that I did not partake of the incredibly strong and good-looking marijuana there, I found myself strangely hungry shortly afterwards. I stopped off at a sort of friendly local bar. Suddenly, out of the blue, everybody starts singing in perfect harmony. It was terrifying. Fortunately, I wasn't high, because that would have really, really, really freaked me right the out. So what are our options?
They have a sandwich with tahini with honey.
Down.
Or tahini with miso sauce.
Boo-hoo, definitely not, no.
Sandwich with peanut butter jam. And a sandwich with broccoli spread and feta. A sandwich with farmer cheese.
If I found myself amongst, is this like some sort of hippie enclave? Are these people, is this a vegetarian restaurant?
I don't know.
I really need something steady. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, that'll work.
I would much rather have gone to Spang Macandra Surinamese spot in the old south of Amsterdam. Roti, kebabs, soups, and hot sandwiches that are actually good fly out of here at top speed. Or I could have stopped by a coffee shop, dialed 420, and grabbed some takeout. Hung out in Vondelpark.
There's thinly sliced veal.
Yes?
Veal with homemade smoked mackerel mayonnaise.
There's basically nothing on this menu, and a ham and cheese sandwich is the most visually arresting thing I could think of.
Yeah, let's go for the toasty. Ham and cheese. That'll do me.
Toasty.
Yeah. Jesus, tahini.
I feel like I've been exiled to Hipster Island. And then there's proof.
Yeah, the guy with the sock on his head over there, the Ray-Bans, they're laying back on the couch. That's the vanguard of higher real estate prices. See a few of those, you know that rents are about to double.
As I sit here amongst the sock-headed and the goateed, I comfort myself with the thought of a nice ham and cheese. And then I get wheat bread instead of the white bread I asked for. Perfect. Damn hippies.
Actually, I'm wasting my time at this moment for all of you because you're sitting at home and I'm here in Amsterdam and you're wasting your time and I'm doing that as well. So why am I here? You can do here everything. Come on, come to Amsterdam. Okay? Hello? Hello?
Told you, it's endemic around here. These furries. The guy I saw was in a full panda outfit.
Many visitors come to Amsterdam with a checklist of things to do while here. Get high, motorboat a hooker, that sort of thing. Believe it or not, I will not be visiting the red light district. Been there, done that. And human trafficking, while good for jokes, is a questionable practice on every other level. There's Cannabis College, but even for the serious pothead, that's a bit too nerdly. I mean, I like beer. Do I want to go to the University of Beer? No, I want to drink beer. Anne Frank Museum? Whoa, you should see the lines, and frankly, downer.
If you want to spend some money, is rent your own little classic saloon boat and have a gorgeous tour through the city with a nice bottle of champagne and some nice shellfish. That's a nice one, of course.
Champagne? Shellfish? Not quite. With me is Ron's friend, Kees Gale, notable Dutch actor. Ron's apparently otherwise engaged, so won't be joining us.
Yeah, here we go. These canals were made to control the level of the water. That was one thing. Transport, obviously. Also made for getting around, you know.
So you do this all the time?
A couple of friends of mine have boats.
Yeah.
But this is a great place to live. When you come to Amsterdam, you're only staying for a week or something. Rent a houseboat.
You can rent a houseboat and a boat.
There you go.
You can do whatever you want. This is nice. I usually hate boat tours. What I like it best is that, you know, when you get in a boat, you can actually go somewhere. Cheers.
Floating on a canal not to your liking, try a sensory deprivation tank at Cone Float in the Centrum district. Ron's favorite to, like, clear your head, find your center.
Now this is nice. This is a perfect way to relax yourself after a hard day's night working.
What I love about Amsterdam, but all European cities in general, that you get a feel of history. You get a feel that everything is universal. All the feelings, the emotions, the ambitions of people.
Our exciting boat ride is at an end. The clock is ticking. So little time. So little time!
Here we go.
One of the many cafes around here that you can reach by boat, Soundgarden, is located on Marnixstraat, right on the canal. People come here, park their boats, and grab a drink. Despite the punky rock feel, it's definitely a pretty relaxing spot.
2 of your coldest, please. And are those nachos? Thank you very much.
Here we go.
I have to say, compliments on your nautical skills. You got us here.
Yeah, especially for the first time.
Yeah.
And I wanna compliment you with you staying in Amsterdam and not being high and not being drunk yet.
Thank you.
There you go.
Cheers to that. We're working on it, though.
I hope so.
I could violate every deeply held belief and principle I live by and uncharacteristically torpedo my career and this show's itinerary by stepping into a quaint little coffee shop called Paradox in the Jordaan and getting the top of my head ripped off by some seriously strong sticky icky. And because people looking closely right at you when stoned is what everybody likes, I could then get my portrait done by this guy, Stanley. With admit it's a nice memento of your time in Amsterdam. Where the f*** is Ron anyway?
Some people say like you're back in mommy's belly because you get totally isolated from the outside world.
So what's left for me that's absolutely quintessentially Amsterdam to eat.
What a lot of Dutch people love is Indonesian and the Suriname food.
Right.
Because I think Amsterdam is one of the best, outside of Indonesia, one of the best Indonesian restaurants in the world.
Also, well, I do like Indonesian food. I'm into it.
If you can't go to Indonesia for its food, go to Amsterdam. We head back to meet Ron as the damn clock is still ticking on this layover.
When I meet people of my age who were there when they were young and they're coming back now to Amsterdam, they still recognize the same vibe and the same atmosphere as then. It survives.
Case and I head over to the Wilderman Cafe in the Centrum area, in a former distillery. It's a bar for beer lovers. Ron's managed to get out of his flotation tank refreshed and in good order, and as usual, is full of good ideas.
We got this sort of beef sausage.
Yes, I want that.
Smoked.
Yeah, I want that.
That's Amsterdam's, and they got some good cheese things.
Cheese?
Yeah.
I want that
like
too.
Cheese?
I like cheese. So what neighborhood is this?
This is as much in the center as you can get. This
Really?
is the oldest part of Amsterdam. This was formed in the 12th century, around 1137 or something like that.
Cheers.
Sausage and cheese on the way. But if we'd been here Tuesday, we would have been here for the Eel Man. He catches them fresh in the countryside, smokes them, and brings them around pubs to sell. Nice Eel Man. Look at those babies. We've got beer and things on cocktail sticks, so all is well at the Wildman.
You like the sausage?
Well, that's great.
That's liverwurst. I don't know if you know it under that name.
Of course. We get a lot of Dutch and Germans in the States. A lot. New York was Dutch.
New Amsterdam.
In New York, they had to vote about the language because it was all multilingual and multicultural, and otherwise, in the United States
would have talked Dutch.
Would have talked Dutch.
This is a lovely place, man. It's nice to sit out here and just watch the people passing by, but inside is beautiful as well. It's a nice old place, and they have such a know-how about beers.
The thing I like about the Wilderman is it's almost going back a couple centuries.
In the late afternoon, the sun coming around the corner and a beer in my hand. A really magical sort of golden moment. Good thing I'm not baked. Woo. Glad I missed that boat.
Due to our shameful colonial history, there are lots of Indonesian restaurants, but if you want to eat a real good rice table in Amsterdam, then you go to the Tempo Dulu.
One thing left to do, the famous Dutch-Indonesian food. It's useful to remember that Holland used to be a world power. Case and Ron take me to Tempo Dulu, which means, if I recall correctly, the old days. Indonesia was under Dutch control until 1945, and returnees and immigrants from their overseas possession brought the delicious food of the area back to Holland.
How do you pronounce it? Rijsttafel.
Rijsttafel.
Rijsttafel. So we have to do that.
In Indonesia, the Dutch came up with a method of sampling a lot of small dishes at once, mainly to show off the range of flavors to foreign visitors.
The smell is driving me out of my mind with hunger.
Yeah.
We would like to have the rijsttafel East and Mama.
Of course.
Yes?
You like the mild, medium, or spicy?
Spicy.
Yeah, spicy, please.
Spicy, 3 times.
3 times.
Here we go.
Cheers, guys.
Too spicy for you? Check out Blauw aan de Wal. You get here by navigating your way through the red light district and up an alley. The approach seems dodgy, but once inside, you find yourself in a tasty oasis amidst the brothels and the sex shows. The kitchen serves up Mediterranean dishes using fresh, local ingredients. Back at Tempo Dulu, I'm waiting on chicken with coconut and tomatoes, pork with sweet soy sauce, spicy beef rendang, and about 20 other small and delicious dishes.
That's the pork, and with the sweet soy sauce, it's spicy, it's the goatmeat. This is completely mild. Yeah, so in the middle it will be spicy, and then the third one with the red peppers on top, that's hot. And with the yellow pepper, it's extremely hot.
The trays of 25 dishes are placed on the table, starting with mild and ending with burn your face off.
So this is how it works. Just a whole bunch with some good rice.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, this is going to be a feast. Definitely.
Oh, that burns.
The habanero, that. There you go.
Good. That'll hurt you.
To the table, let me eat hot.
Oh. I made it. I made it to the other side. It was really in doubt for a while. This is really one of those deliciously, painfully wonderful meals. I hurt so good right now. I'm still recovering from that.
A nice way to end any layover. Hot, spicy, and very, very tasty. Thank you, Amsterdam, for kicking my ass on the way out.